Thank you, Gafford. Thank you again. My name is Funton Daniel. I will be speaking here from the announcement or discussion. And if you just tuning in, just share. So we have so many people. My name is Funton Daniel. I will be speaking here from. See what's happening. You can also join me on again. And I know those of you who may be living in the extreme far part of the United States, weather is severely cold. There's inconsistency of weather. Weather can be very troublesome, especially our elderly person, children. You want to keep. You could end up in the hospital. That's something we don't wish for, but. If it does happen, we think they're living by themselves and that sometimes they just forget and they don't remember. Sure that our loved ones are safe, our elderly person are safe. Um, you know, uh, and it has been going through excruciating, and I know I have been reporting this case. I know many of my listeners or many of my viewers, they might probably be sleeping. The U.S. Congress, the congressmen, the Congress, U.S. Congress, the U.S. Congress. That is why all of us, we have to respect them, because the Congress, that's what they make the laws. The U.S. Senate, which is a branch of that Congress, U.S. Congress wrote a letter to Nikki Haley. In response, they have responded to that call here in the United States, in New York. It is a body that because La République thought a colonial territory of La République. Yes. 1961, here in New York, vote in a country. This is the same body that voted, granted the independence, like public property, and that they can murder people at will. But your blood will rise against those perpetrators, at least 500 of them, of Chadian that have been hired by La République. Go back to my Facebook and you scan through, you will see that, right? And therefore, we cannot just go and slaughter any animals, because it is a serious, devastating when with human beings being slaughtered like animals. I am not framing this story. Go to my Facebook page and look at my Facebook page. You will see about us, that are special species of human being. If, as I'm speaking, the Chadian soldier hired by La République, I am calling the United States White House. I'm calling the State Department. I'm calling the U.S. government. In Nigeria, remember, La République US name, or the West Cameroon, or the same body, United Nations, that grant them independence, by means that if we, the Anglophone, have the right to their freedom, they have the right to decide. Imagine they choose to vote benevolent neutrality, just like when they choose to live with La République, that does not guarantee La République. This, again, this were the vote that is here in the United States. United Nations General Assembly, those were the members at the time of the United Nations General Assembly. Southern Cameroons in number, in which I am going to read them as they stand here. 64 Lebanon, Liberia, Libya, Mali, Mexico, Morocco, Union of Soviet Socialist Republic, Union of South Africa, Union of Soviet, Afghanistan, Albania, Australia, Austria, Bolivia, Bulgaria, Bulgaria, Finland, Ghana, and Guinea. Those were the nations that stood up and voted. La Republic is not a colonial territory. La Republic has no legal authority over the Southern Cameroon, of the Southern Cameroon. The people have the right to tell La Republic, no, we don't. As I'm speaking right now, at least there is a murdering going on La Republic. It is very, very regrettable. Oh, his death is of late. He actually tabled a document at the United Nations that the relations built at the United Nations. United Nations need to pull the document and see for itself that they can live together under a federal structure of government. And that is the minimum. The Anglophone grassroots area is the harvesting area where France can come over at will and do the Anglophone speaking. Of the Southern Cameroon territory. I am going to read them here in number. Those countries that Vasca, Niger, Paraguay, Senegal, Upper Volta, Uruguay, Gabon, Greece. And in this pattern, you will realize should vote against the sovereignty of the Southern Cameroon. Meanwhile, they already have their independence. Remember, the Anglophones are not a colonial territory of La Republic. The Anglophone is a sovereign nation on its own to be the sole custodian of my home. I simply invite them. The Anglophone speaking is not part of La Republic. It's part of the Anglophone speaking territory. And they choose to vote a benevolent neutrality by leaving La Republic and by leaving the both nations. La Republic, whom have decided that we are their current Amadou Ahidjo from 25 years in power to the next brutal dictatorship system of government. But yet, they don't practice those systems of government because France is the architect. France is the beneficiary and not dictating on what has been done. While the African is the Anglophone speaking. That they have no custodian. United States government does not influence what has to happen. United States government provide opportunity that occur here in the United States. And when the United States, when the world is still benefit from the economy that was drafted by the United States, and they have no legal authority over the Southern Cameroon territory. They have no legal binding. Look at my Facebook and see all those horrible images. How they are being slaughtered, so or should be locked up in the International Court of Justice. Being like animals. And therefore, and become the sole custodian. And that is why I want to take a moment to thank. Imagine mother and children are being driven from their home and they travel in the forest. I mean, imagine a mother with his children bleed to death. And one asks, why are they escaping? To find that mother leaving their home, their territory, migrating to national community. Because most major media don't present it. And that is why if you go to my Facebook, that is why I am using this opportunity to present this case to the world home, including a mother with 90-something years old, living in a home, grandmother, and is burnt into ashes and become like the barbecue. That is La Republique for management. They don't need La Republique for education. They don't need La Republique of the Anglophones that have formed an interim government. Were adopted or were signed where these 10 interim members are. And yet, the communication minister that granted the sovereignty of the Southern Cameroon. This is a document that granted the same sovereignty of or the child is 90 years old. It's their territory and they have no. The president of La Republique is 85 years old. He's mentally challenged months ago, and yet he's the president of a sovereign nation. Central African region to report to the United Nations called Francois Lefort. Francois Lefort judgment. He lacked moral reasoning to use clear statement and stating his father become a terrorist in their land. If you're using languages, use it inappropriately and in the wrong. When the people of Great Britain have the right to their duty, they have the right to their freedom, they have the right to pull out of the European Union, and they have the right speaking, choose to leave La République. That is where you find all the military of the French the right to ask the British government to back us up if France is coming to back La République. Influence, because African is the black race, the race that is worth nothing, the race that cannot be respected. Anglophone territory will remain the Anglophone territory, and you can deal with La République because it's your colony. In elected officials, we cherish the government of the United States. We value this system of government. And the US Congress members that are making this a progress. Call off the relationship. It is time to call off the relationship. And Garoua, they all function in the full capacity, but none in the Anglophone territory is functioning. An Anglophone respect the rule. You can imagine the system that persists. The Bamileke will give you a clear example, and the Bassals. As I'm speaking, if you have been appointed to the Southern Cameroon territory, we in Cameroon must practice their democracy against their will. La République must vacate the land. We will use every means to come after you, and you shall produce them. And you will clarify, identify. Because we've got enough of La République. It is time for you. And it was thank you for watching.